girls, so much for typing that in. And again, if you have any questions throughout the night tonight, make sure that you type in your questions in here, and then maybe someone else has the same idea, same question, so I'll be able to kind of answer that for you. So thank you for joining us tonight for the Field Hockey Recruiting 101 class. My name is Tina Cormier. I'm your head recruiting coach through NCSA, so I'm going to be the one that's going to be working with you guys directly throughout this process. All right, so I'm going to apologize. First of all, I do have this nasty cough, so, you know, once in a while I'm going to probably break on a coughing fit, but appreciate your patience. So we're going to kind of get through this as quick as we can tonight, just to make sure that you guys kind of understand what you can expect out of the Field Hockey Recruiting 101 class. So a bit about my background here, so you guys kind of have an idea where I'm coming from and where I get, you know, my ideas and the knowledge is. I am from Canada. I did play at the New Brunswick. I was fortunate enough to play 2 sports there, so I played field hockey and ice hockey throughout my time, so that was pretty fun. And then I was lucky to get a job at Providence College, which I ended up being there for years. So I coached there for 9 years as an assistant and then an associate head coach. And after that, I moved on to become a head coach at Colby College, so a Division III school over there. So having coached at the D1 and the D3 level is really kind of helping me throughout with this job as well. So, and now since March of 2016, I joined NCSA to become a field hockey head recruiting coach. So the one kind of guiding you through the process, basically your personal, college coach that can kind of help you through and make you kind of help you read between the lines and help guide you kind of through the process. So that's a bit about me. So basically what we'll go over tonight is the overview, the 8 steps to be successful in the recruiting process. So the first one here that we have is basically making sure you fill out your profile. So, you guys all have your online profile. College coaches like the online profile because everything is in one place, very easy to read. They can always click on the link later on and they can get all the information versus getting emails with attachments, and that gets a little bit for them when they have, 300, 400 people emailing them all the time. So profiles they are a big fan of. So I want you guys to understand, too, that every college coach Division 1, 2, and 3, they all have an NCSA account, so they can log into their account and they can search our database of field hockey players. So a lot of them will do that. Then say, for example, give me, a list of all 2019 goalkeepers on here. So if it's the criteria, we'll populate a list, and then the coaches from there can go click on the profile. They can email, they can watch your video, they can do whatever from there. So very important to have a good-looking profile, because when they do get that search, as one of maybe the 50 kids that do appear in that particular search, if video or you don't have transcript and you don't have any of those important tools, they're not going to click on your profile further. So very important to make sure that you clean that up as soon as you can. These are the things that are important, obviously, on your profile. And when you are on your dashboard, you're in your profile, you get that that little circle right there, 100% profile completion. You'll kind of see what's missing on your profile on there. If you have any specific questions about that, you can always reach out to me, and I can kind of help you with these things as well. Okay, so the second thing that you have access to here to be a good recruit is really recruiting classes. So what we have tonight is a recruiting class. So this is just a basic one to kind of get you going here. But there are plenty of recruiting classes offered throughout the week. So you guys can go on your NCSA University profile, and you can see there are a bunch of recruiting classes you can sign up for. Again, those are all free of cost. They come with your membership. These people that don't have memberships, you guys can have access to those as well. So I would say educate yourself, learn as much as you can about anything that you might need. It's how to talk to coaches, how you can use social media, what is a national letter of intent, what does that mean? Eligibility center, what does that mean? Obviously, you can ask me those questions, but you can also do a lot of research on your own. There are videos of all of those as well. There are the resource library that basically is more the documents versus the videos and classes like this. Recordings about a lot of our classes. Coaching sessions are when we basically do the one-on-ones with me. So we have like a 30-minute one-on-one session. We call them coaching sessions, where we basically develop a game plan for you, particularly you specifically, based on your goals, what you want to achieve, what you're interested in, and we kind of make you a game plan with the process. So, so that's some of the stuff that that you have access to. One of my favorite tabs, I guess, on your profile is the Researching Schools, the Find Colleges tab. When you click on that tab, you can really find all sorts of colleges, and every school that you look for will have a field hockey program in the system. So let's say you want to study nursing, you want to play at the D3 level, and you want to stay in Ohio, you can kind of select all of those criteria, and you're going to come up with a list of schools that have a field hockey program. So that kind of can narrow your research, narrow your list really quickly by doing that sort of research on your profile. So if you come up with a list, like it, click on the star, and the star will kind of notify that coach you're interested in their program, and then it will also add them to your list of favorites so that you start to organize your thoughts of who your favorite schools are, and you can always change that, but as you kind of go through, you're like, I'm very interested in that school. I think I'm going to keep it on my favorites for now, and then if you don't like it, you can always deselect that star. And then from there, too, you can click on the institution's website, and they'll have an online recruiting questionnaire that they always like that you guys fill out. But that's all easy, accessible there on their website. So this one here, I don't want you guys to be too overwhelmed with this, but basically it's in order to become a good prospect where the college coaches will see you play. They always want to see you play in person. So very good to have a video, obviously, but at the end of that, they get the video, but they're always going to want to see you play in person at some point. So you have to attend showcase or events. That is the best way to kind of put your name out there and to give yourself the best shot at more opportunities. So I just have a list here of events. Many choices, so many events, different times of the year that you can choose, but these are basically the major events that the college coaches will book in their calendar at the beginning of the year. So all the college coaches basically make it to these events here, so you can go to one of those events and probably have access to about 150 coaches that will be watching, evaluating your play. So before that, it's emailing them, letting them know you're going to be at the event, and getting an opportunity to just be evaluated, and hopefully they find you, hopefully they like what they see. Just a list right there. Obviously, there are more events than that, but these are the basic ones, the main ones. And then that box on the bottom right there is basically individual camps and clinics. There are a lot of local clinics, too, in the areas that will attract local coaches. So, there's there's usually one in Pennsylvania. There's usually one in New England. So I think coaches within driving distance of those events will usually be there, but you won't see a coach from the Midwest fly into New England to go into that smaller event. So just know what those are all about, but still you can get some really good exposure. And college camps, I think college camps they're good for development, they're good for seeing the school, they're good for meeting the coaching staff, but you really get exposure only to that one school. So depending on your age, I think the older you get, the more you can start doing those so that you can kind of get a good idea of if that school might be a good for you or not. But I think when you're younger, maximum exposure is always best for you to kind of get ahead of. Super 60 is a camp that's kind of a big hype right now. What it is, it's style, so you're going to learn a lot. It's not just a tournament where you just play games, but it's a camp style, and they hire about 30, 40, sometimes even more college coaches, and they will switch groups. So every game, every half, they will switch. So you'll be coached by a bunch of different coaches at that event. So you can start to develop relationships with coaches as well. They can evaluate you, your coachability and all that stuff. So I think that's a really good one that people really love to do at this point. When you start college, do they know? Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that question earlier. When I clicked on that, you did a find college, and then there's a little star. If you click on the star, what the college coaches find out is when they do log into the NCSA account, they have a place. The first thing they see is athletes interested in my school, and when they see athletes interested in their school, when they click on that, they'll have everybody that clicked on the star. So that's how they'll get access to your name. Now, communicating with coaches. Obviously, the next thing, after you choose the events, you got to tell them that you're going to be going to these events. So very important for you to unlock your message center. So those of you that don't know what that is, it's that little white envelope on the top right of your screen when you're signed into your profile. That's your message center, all right? So you have to take a drill. There's an email quality drill waiting for you there if you haven't done it yet. It's going to tell you kind of how to write the email, how to formulate it, and what to add in there. And we always want the shorter the better. I think when you first get going, coaches. I can help you with that as well, so send me what you have. I can double check. Hey, coaches, this sound okay? I'll be more than happy to help you with that stuff. Short email, letting them know where you're going to be, why you're emailing them, why you're interested in their school. Your link will also be attached to that email as well, so the coaches will click on your link if you're interested in learning more. Now, in touch with coaches, is you can obviously call them. Very important for you to leave a message, because a lot of times they might not be available. Leave them a message, let them know your name. If you're younger, if you're calling anyone coach and you're not a junior yet, they cannot respond. So very important for you to follow up with the email as well, and let them know that you called, you'd love to talk to them, and you're going to call them again, etc. And as far as emailing coaches too, sometimes people will say, what's too much, what's not enough? Thing is, before events, obviously let them know you're going to be at the event. Don't waste all that money and not get what you need out of it. So make sure that you email them before events. And also, if you update, so you just got named All-American, or you just added a video to your profile, you just got your ACT score, anything like that, when you have something to say, I'd say email them. Otherwise, you don't need to email them every week. I think, once every couple of months, so just making sure they don't forget about you. But you want your email to be valuable as well. There's one thing here at the bottom. Basically, if a coach responds, make sure you respond to them promptly. Even if you're not interested in that school, very important for you to get back to that coach. Just let them know that you don't know much about their school, but you're there to learn more. You're going to do some digging, and then you'll let them know if you're interested. Or if you're not interested, you can simply tell them what you're looking for, and that at that time, they might not be what you're looking for, but you will let them know if anything changes. So very important to be polite to respond to them. The other thing to keep an eye on is your activity report. So when you see that coaches have emailed you or they have clicked on your profile, it's okay for you to follow up with them and say, hey, coach, I just wanted to check in. I want to let you know I'm really interested in your program. You don't have to say, I saw you looked at my profile, but you can just kind of find a reason to kind of get in touch with them after that. And if they follow you, definitely make sure you follow up with an email with them. Let them know that they follow you. And if they need any more information from you, then that would be great. Any questions so far? Feel free to type them in the chat box here if you have any questions. So for campus visits, I get this question a lot, is unofficial visits, official visits, all that stuff. Unofficial visits are basically you can go to visit the school anytime you want. There's unlimited amounts. I always say anytime you do an unofficial visit, make sure you try and get in touch with the coaches. Try and schedule a meeting if you can. Don't waste all that time. You drive down there and you still don't meet the coach. If you can't, the coach can't meet with you, they don't get back to you, that's okay. But at least try. The other thing, official visits. So the official visits is mostly when the coaches invite you, and then they can also pay for you to go. So that doesn't happen a lot these days. I feel like it's mostly Division I that they do that. They usually only do it for Division I. They can only do it during your senior year. So many people are already committed by then, but they'll still take the official visits, stay overnight, stay with the kids, go out to dinner with the families, and they put up family in a hotel and kind of make it a big deal just to make sure that you guys kind of feel comfortable going there. So don't get too confused about the two. I think the unofficial visits just at your own dime, and then the official visits can be at the coach's dime if they offer them to you. And those are the limits right there for Division I. You can't take more than 5, 1 per institution. Visit can be taken time during a dead period. The coaches will tell you, so let them know, hey, I plan on visiting around this time. If it's a dead period, they will let you know that they can't talk to you, but that's very rare that they have one of those. And then when you visit as well, you're allowed to get 3 tickets to a sporting event, so that's really a good thing to take advantage of as well. Any questions so far? Okay. All right, so the next one here is Prepare Your Academics and Eligibility Center. So this is just kind of an overview. I'm not going to dive into this too much, but you will have to, at some point, if you want to play Division I or Division II, you're going to have to sign up for the NCAA Eligibility Center. And what they do is they just make sure that you're eligible to play NCAA field hockey. So you have to have a minimum GPA. You have to have a certain level of SATs. You have to. They just make sure that you've taken all the core classes that you're supposed to have, just to make sure that you can play. And again, I've really seen any situation where people aren't eligible, but you need to get cleared by the eligibility center. It does have a fee as well. So if you're thinking you're probably going to play Division 3, you're not interested in D1, D2, you don't have to worry about this. But still, if you guys want to learn more, get in touch with me. I can send you the link, and you can go on the website and learn a lot more about what the eligibility center does. Instant review, basically, I think most of you has probably heard of this, is that you get to obviously get preparation for your ACT and SAT. Part of your membership, depending on what level of membership you have access to that Princeton review for some preparation before your test. So let me know if you want, because some of you, those that are Recruit Match Plus and Pro Match, you will have access to the free Princeton reviews that you can sign up for. So let me know. I'll send you the codes and we can get you going on that. But very important to, obviously, you have to have the academics ready to go so that you can go play field hockey at these schools. So I have some questions here. Verbally as a freshman, and is it better to wait? I think it's when you're ready. So coming as a freshman, it's definitely verbal. There's no commitments that are not verbal until your senior year. So you can only officially sign with a school senior year, fall senior year, November. So anybody tells you, oh, they're already committed, they're going to school, nothing else on paper at all. It's all verbal. The verbal commitment does mean a lot, though, in the field hockey world. It's a pretty big deal where people respect it. So somebody tells me they're committed to the University of Maryland, I stop recruiting them. I'm like, okay, good luck. Let me know if anything changes, but I wish you the best of luck. And then I'm going to start focusing on recruiting other people. So that what that means. I think it's better to wait. I think it's better that you make sure, 100% sure, that that's the school that you want to be at. And I think when you're a freshman, unless you've been going a few years, you've been going to camp, you know the coaches really well, you've done your research, that's where you want to be, fine. And the coaches like you and the coaches want you, that's perfectly fine. And it does happen more and more, and it happens more and more, I think, at the higher level. The top 10 programs probably do a lot more earlier recruiting. It's really, I think you got to make sure, like a coach usually doesn't want you to commit if you're not sure that you want to be there. The worst thing is to have somebody transfer when they come to the school. So as a coach, that's not really fun either. How would you verbally commit? If so many rules? Yes, good question. So the verbal commitment happens when the coaches cannot call you and they can't email you. The Division I coaches cannot call you, they can't email you until you're a junior. So before that, when they commit as a freshman, what happens is you can call them, and so anytime you call them, if they pick up the phone, they can talk to you. If you go on their campus, when they're on their campus, they can communicate with you as well. A lot of other things that's happening is they can also contact your club coaches. So a lot of times you might talk to your club coaches to say, hey, have Abby contact me. I'm really interested in talking to her. And then the club coach or high school coach will contact Abby, and then Abby can say, coach, and then they're going to pick up, and then you guys can have those conversations. So that's usually how that happens. Good question, guys. The financial aid, this I'll touch on it as well. I think parents are more interested in this kind of stuff, is really finding out what your EFC and your FAFSA is. So EFC is your estimated financial contribution. So if you can start to figure out, and then with the FAFSA, when you fill out a FAFSA form, I'll be able to help you with that. So they might be able to tell you how much money do they estimate that you have to contribute to your daughter's college. So what happens, again, when you know that number, it's going to be a lot easier for you to figure out how much it might cost to go to that school. You can ask the coaches, too, about the financial aid read. Do they do any of those? Do they do them early, or do they just get submitted with your application? Keep in mind, Division I, they can give athletic scholarship. Division II, they can give athletic scholarship. Division III, it's solely financial aid, merit, grants, loans, no athletic scholarship at the Division III level. All right, so know the financial aid policy at the college. I think you can do a lot of research on that. If you don't know, you can always ask the coach. Don't ask the coach, how much money am I going to get? But ask them, hey, how does your financial aid office work here? Is there anybody I can contact? So then you can kind of learn more about that process too. And at NCSA, we actually do partner with a company called SmartTrack, and they're the ones that are the professionals in basically the financial aid. So those of you that are paid members, you have free access to that, and so we're going to give you the tools on how to sign on, and then you can call them, set up a meeting with them, and make sure that they give you guys the best possible the ways to maximize your dollars and that sort of thing. Every college now also has an online net price calculator, so that's going to give you a good idea as well on how much money you can be expecting from that school. Any questions about that? Right, I think that we're getting to the end here. So the commitment piece, I think we kind of jumped the gun a little bit here, but what happened is you schedule a phone call. You can have an in-person meeting with the coaches. I think an in-person or a phone call is always best when you're going to commit, and let them know of your decision. And obviously, you commit. You don't really commit until you know that the coach is interested in you as well. So usually it's a mutual thing where the coach is like, hey, listen, I'd really love to have you on my team. Let me know, we've loved you here. You'd be a good fit. They send you home, and then when you know what, I want to go there, that's when you tell the coach, listen, I'd love to verbally commit. I'd love to take you up on your offer. Kind of how it happens. So you can't call a coach and say, hey, I'm committing to your school where the coach hasn't recruited you. You can still decide to go to that school, but then it's more letting them know, hey, I've decided to come to your school. Is there any opportunity I can be on your roster? How do I go about doing that, et cetera? National letter of intent, we kind of talked about it already a little bit. Division I, Division II, that is only for people who get offered athletic scholarships that sign a national letter of intent. Decision making, make sure you keep us in the loop. If you guys need any help with that, that's something I can guide you through as well. We kind of be up to date so that we can let coaches know too that you're off limits, and then they can start focusing on other people. So the notes down at the bottom, we kind of touched on it already, is you can commit earlier. We have some freshmen that are committed already, but I'd say no rush. I think it really depends on what level you go to. It really depends on the conversations you've had with coaches. We still have some seniors that aren't committed. So there's lines of situations out there, and everybody's got a different one. So. But remember that even if you're young, coaches are watching you, even though they're not making you offers or maybe not communicating with you right away, they're evaluating you. So they might have a total of 8 to 10, evaluations of you by the time you're a junior. And then they'll really know what kind of player you are, and that's how they're going to make sure that they know to offer you the amount that you're going to be the right kid for them. So that's kind of what happens on their end. I have a question here. Does it look bad in your profile if you're sure about what career you wish to pursue? No. And fine, when you have preferences and you don't have the coaches cannot see your preferences. That is only for you and for me and for the system, all right? So they do not know that. It's just to help you guys with the match level. So I can see them. The match level is like kind of what it gives you, like an 98% match based on everything that you have in your preferences, your video evaluation, and what the college coach is looking for. So if they're not looking for a goalie, you might not high match for your class, because they have those settings as well. But those are the things that will be considered in the match percentage. And so the coaches cannot see your preferences, and they cannot see your list of favorites. All right, so they can only see what's on your profile when you click on Preview Profile. That was a really good question. As career, though, a lot of people do not know. Some people know right away, and then some people will go to college undeclared, and then they have to declare by the spring season of their sophomore year. So very popular that people do not know. Does it mean anything if they follow you on social media? Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, they don't have to follow you, and they're not looking for, following 2,000 kids. So I think if they follow you, they've probably seen you somewhere, and they want to learn more about who you are as a person. So way of they might like your field hockey ability, but they might want to know what kind of kid you are, so they want to track your stuff, and they want to see what kind of picture you post, and are going to be a good representation of their programs. So keep social media stuff, and if coaches do follow you, obviously, hopefully that keeps you from keeping it clean. It makes you keep it clean. That's definitely a good thing, and I'd follow them back. That's one thing that I would suggest for you guys is follow coaches so you can learn more about their program. If you sign a letter of intent and you change your mind, hopefully that does not happen. I haven't really heard of that happen too much. I'm not sure what the penalty is. I don't know if there is a penalty, but it's not something that's very common. And I say before you sign, do your research, make sure you know exactly what's going on. Because if you're unsure, a coach doesn't want you to sign that, and it's just kind of leading people on. So change your mind. I don't think they're going to lock you up or do anything like that. But you do actually have to communicate with a coach and let them know, you've changed your mind and you're really sorry, and I think you'll be okay. But it's something that, you want to try and avoid if you can. And I can walk you guys through that process as well. You're private on social media. Again, if the coaches try and follow you, that's important to them to kind of see what you're all about. So I think, it wouldn't look as good if you don't accept them. But again, if you have something on social media you don't want them to see, just be careful. Be careful. Sometimes stuff is private, but if you're friends with somebody else that they know, they can always kind of go on and look. So just be careful with that stuff. Make sure that your parents are kind of on it too, so they can see what you're posting, and whatever you're posting, I think should be a good representation of yourself anyway. So you shouldn't be embarrassed of any of it, but just gotta make sure. So good questions, guys. The recruiting timeline here for those of you that were kind of looking at the page over here. So, for Division III, they can email you anytime. 8th grade, freshman, sophomore, junior, doesn't matter. Division III can start calling freshmen, and the sophomores, Division II, they can after June 15th of the sophomore year. And for Division I, they can start calling you September 1st of junior year. So that's a little bit about that. As far as off-campus contacts, again, when you go to an event in Florida, the coaches are not on their campus, so only Division II schools can speak with you after June 15th of your sophomore year. Division I coaches can only talk to you off-campus after July 1st of your junior year. Unofficial visits anytime, and then official visits, as you see, sophomore year after June 15th, Division II, they can do official visits. Division III, it's after January 1st of your junior year. Division I is only on your senior year when you start school. So, you can kind of, I'll send you guys this link too so that you guys have access to this video and this chart so you can learn a little bit more about it. And the signing dates are down there at the bottom. So that really concludes the class. Just wanted to, guys, you can have my phone number right there. Recruiting help, that's not my personal email, but anybody in the office can also help you with that. And you have my email at the bottom there, Coach T. Cormier. Thank you guys again for joining me tonight. I hope you learned a little bit. And if you have questions, again, reach out to me. We can kind of tackle them individually too. And I'll stay on the line for the next couple minutes here too, so that if some of you have more questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. Maybe we can even speak over line here. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you soon.